Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my second ever Outlineathon. I did this at the end of 2024 where I just spent several days outlining different story ideas, and I'm talking like full, intense, thousands of words outline in order to take what were just like nuggets of ideas and turn them into something that could be used to really choose my next story I wanted to work on. This ended up being really creatively fulfilling, very satisfying at the end to have gone through all of these ideas and really just like spent some very serious brainstorming time. It was a blast. And at the time I was like, maybe I should make this like a semi-annual thing, and somehow time has passed and it is almost 6 months later. It's at the very end of June as I'm filming this. I don't know where the time has gone, but semi-annual. We're making it a thing. I also think this year I'm going to combine it because I'm doing this kind of like end of year and mid-year thing. I just want to combine it with some cleaning and organizing. In the same way that I find outlining things kind of helps my brain feel a little bit less chaotic. Oh, tippy tappies. Which dog shall appear? I think it's Old Boy. Hi, Old Boy. Hi, Thor. In the same way that outlining makes my brain feel a little bit more organized, less chaotic, kind of like you can exhale, cleaning does that too. And frankly, it's a mess. Things are a mess. I'm in like the very midst of a very chaotic summer. Lots of fun family things happening, but does mean that I'm often gone and the chaos just seems to have built. Is it right there? Is it right there? So let me go ahead and show you what I've already done, which is taken 5 ideas, and you can't see this, but the chaos down below, I do plan on taking, you might see this video first, I don't know. These are all of the idea notebooks I've ever had. And I'm going to go through them. So by the end of this month, there might be more than 5 that I'm working on, but right now I have 5. And they're concepts that I feel need some work, but are the start of really fun ideas. You know, that place where you're sitting down and any chance you get to have, your brain is working on it in the background. And so you'll just be doing something different and an idea will come out. That is what these stories are for me right now. And funnily enough, I actually have 2 old stories that have come back to the forefront because I've had an epiphany. And so let me show you. I am working within my to be written Scrivener doc, and I've already gone ahead and made a little section for an Outlineathon. And so I don't know, some of you might remember these. I have Project Purple, it's pink, it's fine. Scooby-Doo meets Princess Bride. While I was at the writing retreat, Katie and Wallace very kindly just asked about the Scooby-Doo meets Princess Bride story, and they talked about this concept of throwing spaghetti at the wall and just, you know, speaking it out loud to help you figure out your story, and kind of a group brainstorming thing. And it really didn't take long. It's so funny after years of being like, I don't know how to tell this being the problem, where I had so many characters kind of serving as like my mystery incorporated. So many characters, I wanted to do them as point of view characters, and every time I tried it didn't work. I just didn't feel that I was skilled enough. So as I'm telling them more of the concept of Scooby-Doo meets Princess Bride, I have this epiphany about who the narrator should be and how that solves literally all of my problems that I was having with the story. Similarly, for Project Purple, that's a story I actually completed ages ago, got beta reader feedback on it. I still really love it. It just didn't seem like a story that was publishable by me at the time. I've talked about this in the past, doesn't matter. But I had a little bit of a twist because Project Purple is so still near and dear to my heart, but there's something that I thought up that has just been in my mind about a thing I'd like to do to it. Keep the concept the same, but do kind of a little gender swap, because there are a couple things that I want to play around with, to discuss, And yeah, so will it be any more publishable than the first iteration of it? I don't know, but that doesn't matter. I just feel like I have where Project Purple was supposed to land now with what I've come up with, so I feel like I need to revisit it. And then I finished reading Katie Ann's book, Backhanded Compliments, and in it there are soul marks, and it just reminds me of all of the beautiful times of fan fiction with soul marks, and this fated mates, soulmates, all this stuff. And I really wanted to play around with the idea, had something silly that could be kind of like a Comic-Con and in a weird way Cinderella inspired. And I was like, this is the silliest idea, but wouldn't it be fun to write? And that's the vibe I want right now. So I have that one too. And I guess I should show you. For the Project Purple one, I don't have much that I've written down on it. Same for Scooby-Doo Meets Princess Bride. I wrote down 480 words where I was talking through the epiphany that I had. And then Cinderella, Soul Marks, 478 words of a concept. Then I want to, I didn't spell that right, whoops. Revisit my throuple story, because this was one that I worked on really hard during the last Outlineathon. I think I got like 10,000 words in it. That could be wrong, but it sounds right. It was something crazy, and I feel like I really got the mechanics down. I really got the characters down, but there was one little fantastical element that I thought was missing. And I've talked about wanting to read books where it's not necessarily high fantasy, but there are dragons. And that could be kind of hard to weave in, but I think I figured out a way to have dragons, which I love, and works within the religious aspect of this world. Anyways, so again, I think I might have finally had the epiphany I needed, so I want to revisit that and put in a little baby dragon to the story. And then finally, I typed up a cruise mystery, 219 words from when I was on the cruise with my family. I kept a note on my phone because the internet was really wonky. We had internet, but like not really. And my family and I just came up with the silliest things, and so I typed up those notes. We have multiple ideas for specific murders and when they would happen, just based off of our experience on the cruise. One of the days was super foggy, and so they have the foghorns going off, and we're like, that would be the perfect time to kill someone. It's so fucking loud. That kind of thing. We have silly jokes. We want to have a boatmance between the crew members. Like, there's just some things, and right now that's all it is. It's just stuff on a page, and there's not any discernible true plot, but ideas are there, and would it not be so fun? What a dream for me to get to work on something that more or less was just inspired by a cruise I took with my family. So here's what I'm going to do. For all 5 of these, I recently had to write a synopsis, and I'd already had the story completely written and outlined, so the synopsis was not actually too tough. But this goes back to my slow progression into an outliner in the first place, as I realized how much easier it was to have a pretend query or pretend synopsis written before I started writing. So what I want to do is focus on this 1-page synopsis guideline that actually Susan Dennard wrote, and I read way back in the original blog post she wrote in 2011, but she has reshared it in her Substack, which, oh yeah, Publishing Girl, that's the one, that was the blog. Her Substack, by the way, is incredible, but she basically breaks down the entirety of the synopsis and gives an example using Star Wars, which is perfect for me. So fill in the blanks with opening image, protagonist intro, inciting incident, plot point 1, conflicts and character encounters, midpoint, blah, 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 blah. You get it. I am going to do this first this time, and I want to do it for each one. Now, sometimes this is easier for projects that you've already written, such as Project Purple, which I'm changing slightly, and Scooby-Doo Meets Princess Bride, which I'm also changing. But also sometimes it's harder because you have so much of the story already stored in your head that condensing it down actually is a bit of a struggle. I also think this is going to be interesting because Project Purple is more of a kind of contemporary YA project. Scooby-Doo Meets Princess Bride is a mystery. a silly mystery. Cinderella Soul Marks is romance, Thruples are romantasy, and then the Cruise Mystery is mystery. So I have a wide range, or perhaps not wide, but I do have a range here. So I am curious if maybe doing the synopsis will be easier for other genres. It'll be interesting when I come up with it. Okay, so that's the plan, and then the other plan, as you see me go around like this, is to clean this fucking room. But not only do I want to clean it, much like my goal for taking all of these notebooks that were just spread out everywhere, I want to actually come up with a better system than I have. Can you see that I have also a lot of books? And I did that whole thing about doing my shelves and there's no more space. That's a problem for later in the year me, okay? I'm not talking about that. I am talking about, I got this piece of art in Canada and I love it so much. This is the thing about art. Sometimes you want it to move you, and this one, it does move me into laughter every day. I also have some more art that I have bought that I would like to frame, and I have space with which I would like to hang it up. These are the little things. So I think my current goal is going to be do one synopsis, brainstorm whatever I need to in order to get that into a synopsis format, put a thing up, do a thing. We have a plan. I'm so excited. And then once the synopsis, goddamn, what's the plural of that again? Is it just synopsis? Once I have the synopsis done for each of my story ideas, I do think I will expand it to be a mega super huge outline. That would be the next step. And I would like to do that in this vlog. So it is the last bit of June. As of this recording, I have a few more days. Let's spend all of the last few days of June and the last bit of this first 6 months of 2025 working on this. Yay. But first, tea. All right, after a brainstorming session with my husband while I was walking, I believe I have everything done for Scooby-Doo Meets Princess Bride. I wanted to figure out, even though it's not part of the synopsis, how I was going to start the story, and I think I have it. I think I have it. It was like I had two options and I figured out a way with his help to be in the middle. So that's what the plan is there. I was able to move on. I did actually at first attempt, oh, you guys can't see this. Whatever. I did actually at first attempt the Cinderella Soul Marks one, and I think I need to know the characters just a little bit better in order to figure out more at the end of their romance. So I have this Black Moment Climax resolution that I've left a little bit empty because I think once I do a little bit more playing around with the characters, I'll be able to fill that in pretty easily. Okay, so good to know. Maybe it needs to marinate a little bit longer, or maybe at the end of the day I'll come back to it and see if I can't just do some fun little brainstorming. I think, do I want Project Purple, Thruple, or the Cruise? The Cruise is going to take some thinking because I actually don't have a character yet. Like, that's going to take a lot of brainstorming. So maybe I put that in the category with the Cinderella Soul Marks one and go to Project Purple. I'm going to get the easy ones out of the way and then come back to the harder ones, the more brainstorming ones. Maybe after some coffee. Let's see how much I can get done in Project Purple. It's pink, it's fine. Okay, you cannot really tell that it is much cleaner, but I did do a quick little cleaning session, and I did order frames for all of the art. There were 3 frames that I need to get done. So that'll be fun. They're not gonna get here until a while, so that's okay, but the first step is ordering them. Oh, I don't need this anymore. I think I'm going to move to the cozy chair. I have Buffy right here, down here next to me. I think I'm gonna move to the cozy chair, and I made myself a cappuccino. I made myself some tea, some more tea, and I think it is time to do whatever feels right in the moment. Is it finishing the rest of the synopsises, or is it just a little brainstorming session? TBD.
Normally make someone get that predatory look. You go, what a guy with pie on his, you know.
All right. The thing about not being home that often is that I have to plan all of my doctor's appointments when I am home. So I'm at the doctor. The other problem with this is that because I get like some health care anxiety that I'm getting a little bit better about, but I have gotten into this habit of treating myself after a doctor appointment of any sort, and I'm realizing maybe all in a row is going to be a maybe not the most fiscally responsible thing, but I am gonna probably go and get some bubble tea, and I brought my computer to do some work, so when you see me next, one of these sides will be bandaged. Woohoo! There you go. Okay, so I still have multiple notebooks to go through, but it is just about time to start my first writing stream in like 2.5, 3 weeks or something like that. So I'm very excited for the Outlineathon. Since I decided that the throuple story is good to go, I think what I want to work on is going to be playing around with this cruise mystery, mostly locked room style, obviously. Just like, these are all snippets of ideas. In fact, there's truly no story here yet, in part because I don't think I have a character yet, or any characters other than like, I know I want a boatman, I know I want certain people to pose as other people to get on the boat. Like, I know these things, but I don't know any why, I don't know who. So yeah, that's gonna be the fun little percolation here. I am wondering, should there be a family aspect, since I came up with it while on a family cruise? Like, should there be a family that's at the heart of it? See, things I can play with. I was getting into serious writing business, so I had to put my hair up. I also went and grabbed our cruise journey so that I could remember, but I think I figured out a lot. I have 1,482 words in this, and I have the main characters now. I have the whodunit, whydunit, and I have the way I want to tell the story, which I think is going to be really interesting. I hope. I'm excited. The only thing I need to think of is I'm actually sort of working on it now. I'm breaking it down into day by day, because obviously cruises are a certain number of days. I think that's also going to serve as the parts of the novel. So then there will be chapters within each day, but I think having each day as a new part is going to be really satisfying. That's my hope. What I am realizing I need to do now, though, is I think I want to do scene cards again, which I've not done in a while, but I think it's going to be necessary for this story because I need to have the mystery through line, and then I need to have the protagonists, which are going to be a family that's on the cruise. who accidentally figure it out. I need to have their emotional arc storyline that's going to be more or less completely separate, but interact ever so slightly, of course, with the actual mystery unfolding as they interact with these characters. So that's two different things I need to combine, and then separate those by days. So some of these I have clues already in the facts of the matter, so when they realize things, but I think it's just going to be easier, despite it only being, you know, 7 or 8 days, I think it's going to be easier with scene cards. So I think that's the next step. So though, for my first sprint back, we got an 89-minute sprint. So this really took up a lot of the time, but was very helpful. I have been spotted. I forgot to mention that I successfully only picked off 3 nails during that outlining brainstorming session. So I would call that pretty good.
These are really big pollinating flowers. I've been on this for 28 years. I know that's how it worked. You know, kind of thing. So it's impart itself. It doesn't need that long either because it's so big.
Huh?
That are in here are slightly sweet, a little tart. Let me know before eating, just like labels and stuff.
Let's do like fresh watermelon. Fresh squeezed water.
Wow, she's a YouTuber. The angle's incredible. I bought some new earrings because they're so cute, and supporting the botanical gardens is always fun. That was so great. I took notes. So I have, next time I'm gonna write a garden story. So if I revisit a basement brimming with bodies, I'll have some more little fun facts to put in it. So that's exciting. Yay. All right. It is June 30th, which means it is the final day of my Outlineathon. I am feeling very solid about the cruise mystery. I have been reading over it again at 1,871 words. What I do think I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Cinderella soul marks thing. At the Comic-Con. I'm gonna play around with that just a little bit more, trying not to put it into the synopsis format yet. I don't think any of the other stories are ready quite yet for the synopsis, so I'm gonna play around with that, get to know the characters a little bit more, and I think that's going to be the plan for this morning. Pre-coffee, pre-tea even. Happy Monday to me. Okay, well, that works. I managed to get this done. I'm feeling very good about my Cinderella soul mark story. I actually managed to get to the point where I feel like I have everything. I had been struggling with that 3rd act breakup because I didn't really want to break them up, but obviously you need an emotional beat there that's very important for the story, and I think I figured it out, in part because the Twitch stream was talking a lot about retellings, and I think I took a lot of inspiration at the beginning of the story from Cinderella, and so I revisited things and pulled from there, and that really helped me with the 3rd act breakup. So I feel so good about it, but the note to myself is I should revisit Romancing the Beats and actually take all of the brain dump and put it into outline format, because this is an Outlineathon. I don't want to just brain dump the story. I want to actually have it in a cohesive thing that I can fully reread and use as the bones. So I feel like I have a lot of stuff here, but need to make it into a skeleton. I did also go back to the cruise mystery because that was the last one when I was doing the synopsis version of things that I hadn't broken out. So I'm working on that, and I also think the cruise mystery could be a really fun one to do that experiment where I write from the midpoint to the end and then from the beginning to the midpoint. That I first saw in How to Write a Mystery was one of the Crafts and Drafts book club picks for my Patreon, and I've just been thinking about that ever since. Rainy is doing a version of that now, and so I think whenever I go to write that story, the cruise mystery will be the perfect candidate for that kind of format. I'm just so excited. So we're almost there. We're almost there. This has been a very good Outlineathon so far. For the rest of the day, I think I am going to take a bit of an eye break. I definitely have a 6 p.m. Patreon stream that I'd like to get that done. I'd like to be done with my Outlineathon at the end of that stream. So I'll probably do another solo bit of work here, maybe even a version of these scene cards for the cruise mystery, but I'm feeling very, very solid. All right, I can't tell. A little bit of my coffee left. And now none of my coffee left. Hi, Marco Polo. I am doing well. I had a quick little question for you. Yeah. Yes.
And so the one that really comes that I think really fits that is actually congestive heart failure.
Okay.
And
Ooh, that I think is gonna be perfect.
All of it with my choice. Pulling a name out, showing that, you know, it's that part. I don't ever want to see Landria hurt, especially, you know, from my dying. But, you know, this is my experience, this is my heart that I'm playing.
It is so nice having some healthcare adjacent people in the family that I can ask my questions to, because my dad helped me come up with something great for this cruise mystery. I needed an illness that the matriarch or patriarch, I haven't decided yet, the parents in the family experience that they're keeping secret. And I have the right one now. The one that I had originally researched and looked up, I don't think was going to do what I wanted it to. So, very glad I asked him. I'm now going to take some time before my afternoon session and use my manifestation journal. In and amongst the animals running around. I bought this while I was in Canada, and it's plantable. It's so cute. So, I'm gonna do that briefly, try and manifest some things, and then get back to work.
The system matched you with two other people. It's a rare occurrence, like a double rainbow.
With the help of Romancing the Beat and the last bit of coffee, I have written 4,000, oh, you can't see that, 4,607 words in my Cinderella Soul Marks retelling, and I love it. Oh my god. It's gonna be so cute. And I managed to bookend everything at Comic-Con as well. So, it's gonna be so fun. I almost feel like I should work on this project because I will be at Comic-Con soon. But maybe that I just do some research then, and because I'm very excited for the cruise mystery, which let me show you what I've got. I have gone ahead, and you can kind of see I've decided to break out the days into family secrets, clues, and facts. Once I finish doing all of the old ideas and transfer them, I think I'll be able to take some scene cards and actually spread these out. But this way I will have the family's internal story within each of the couples and the secrets they're keeping from one another kind of as one timeline. Then I'll have the clues that they discover as another timeline, separate from the actual facts of when the murder happens. I've learned from writing enough mysteries at this point that though it's important to know the clues because the clues are what we see on the page, I, the writer, need to know the facts of when the actual murders and everything happens, at least for the big reveal at the end. So that'll be a separate thing. So kind of like 3 different little timelines within the segmented days. So it's gonna kind of look like a grid a little bit, I think, is how I'm conceptualizing this. So I've gone ahead and I'm working from the back up to the front, because I think that's the best way to layer in the clues. So I have day 7 and day 6 done. Day 7's pretty big, day 6, and then I don't have much of anything for day 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I'm hoping to finish today. That's the goal. And if I can finish this, I will feel like I have accomplished what I needed to for the Outlineathon aspect, because otherwise the actual scene cards is more just for my brain for when I'm actually writing it. Because at least the story will be complete once I have this here. So, oh my god, this is awesome. Hooray! Okay, I'm going to finish my coffee, have some lunch, and then I will get back to it. All right, that is it for my Outlineathon. It took a couple bonus days into the first part of July for me to actually complete things and feel really solid about it, but solid I do feel. I really ended up focusing on the new stories, the completely new outlines that I was creating, rather than the Scooby-Doo meets Princess Bride one and Project Purple to Pick It's Fine. I kind of put those to the side because I think what they're going to require is going back to the old outlines and really finagling those, which in some ways could be part of an Outlineathon, but felt a little bit differently to me because I'd also want to reread the projects and kind of do that justice. So ultimately I decided to forego those this time, even though I did work on the synopsis for each. And okay, I thought I recorded this, but apparently I didn't, that when I reread over my eldest daughter religious throuple story and I was trying to put in dragons and it was like kind of working, I reread that outline completely and I reread the first part that I've written and I love it. I love it without the dragons. I do. I think I was searching for it to need something, and there's some part of me that still thinks it probably does to be, you know, quote unquote more commercial. I think it might need another element, but honestly, as I was reviewing it, I think that was just outside voices telling me versus my inside voice of the project that I want to write. And so I think ultimately, until I get beta feedback on it, I don't really need to listen to the outside voices in this drafting phase. So I'm excited to get back to that one. I genuinely don't think anything needs to change from the outline. My 15,000 whatever word outline, crazy. It's beautiful and wonderful and I love it, and I'm excited to make that into a huge story. Once again, I did do the synopsis for that. So I did do a synopsis for each of the 5 initial stories I was talking about, but I really truly focused on the cruise mystery and the Cinderella Comic-Con Soulmark story. And I feel so good about both of them. This is the fun part where in a lot of ways it's all potential, but the goal with the outline at I think 3,000 and 4,000 something words for both of them is to make sure that all of the story makes sense as I am going along. And I don't know that I mentioned this in the beginning, but part of the reason I wanted to do the Outlineathon is because I'm about to take a 24-hour writing challenge again. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently this time. It's gonna have a little twisty twist from ways I've done it before, but I wanted to make sure I had a story completely outlined before I did that. I think that building it off of the synopsis actually did help, even the times when I realized that I didn't know the characters well enough yet to complete that totally. It really helped me come up with some baseline bullet points of what needs to happen to get you a full arc of a story. Things like the cruise mystery, when there's so many elements that I am in theory juggling at once, it could be hard to make sure that I'm hitting that emotional beat. And so that's really where the different timelines helped me to figure out what I needed to do. So as I'm ramping up the intensity of the clues and we can tell something's wrong and people are missing, is also when the emotional arc of the family and all of their secrets are coming to a head. And so that's what the synopsis really helped me to figure out and pinpoint, and how I was able to structure the days. So I'm really glad that I did that aspect of it first, before just trying to kind of bulldoze my way through. Man, as someone who once upon a time really never considered myself an outliner, it has been such a pleasure and so fun to discover this aspect of writing. And my hope is that during the 24-hour write-a-thon challenge, I'm going to find the writing of everything very, very easy, no matter which of the two stories I choose, either the cruise mystery or the Cinderella Comic-Con retelling, because I've already done all of the hard work up front. The cruise mystery I'll have segmented out by the days, as I mentioned, but then the Cinderella retelling I have segmented out by romancing the beat. So each chapter or each scene can kind of go based off of those beats. I can fit them within and figure it out that way. So I don't think there will be a lot of thinking involved. That's kind of what I want. At the point that I complete these outlines, my goal is to be able to get them to a point that if in the future it's months down the road, much like my eldest daughter religious throuple story, I can reread the outline and know exactly what I need to write and where to go. And I have the character motivation embedded in, and I just have all of these elements already figured out, to the point that someone in theory could just read the outline and get it. And that's where the synopsis kind of helps, right? Is that you can read it, you get it, and then you put more meat on the bones to create this outline. I am so glad that I made this a semi-annual thing. I'm glad to get to be doing this again. I also think the timing of things is really good because, for instance, last time I did eldest daughter religious throuple, for sure, and I worked a little bit on it. I would like to get back to working on it. Now I have 2 more stories that I have worked to the point that they could be written. So this is beautiful. In theory, when, you know, I've been so in the depths of revision on another project, to be able to turn and have one already outlined and just ready to draft and play in that zero draft, you know, first exploration of the character sort of vibe, like, oh, that's gonna be so wonderful. Please do comment down below. Let me know what you think of an Outlineathon. Let me know what you think about building an outline based off of this kind of synopsis first, and if you write a pretend query letter, or how you kind of build things along the way as you gather more and more details. Also let me know when you feel confident to start writing. As a previous pantser, I still love the idea of just diving right into things, but now I look at it as diving into the outline. So I'd be really curious to know about you and your process. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye, friends.